What's up guys, welcome back. So today is a very different video. It is a positive video, but to get to the positive stuff, I might have to go through a little bit of the not so nice stuff. I will do my best not to get upset, but ultimately I am doing this video to give everyone a little bit of clarity and to remind us what we need to focus on, things that we might need to do to make our lives ultimately a lot happier. But unfortunately in my case, sometimes to realise there are areas you can work on, you have to go through some shit to find them. And this, I kind of got the idea for this video as a friend of mine, Ben, just on a podcast saying the hardest year of his life, 2017. 2017 for me was by far the most challenging and hardest year of my life, without doubt. Like, nothing comes close. So last year, my dad, or my stepdad to me, passed away and was diagnosed with cancer. Basically, he had pancreatic cancer, which was diagnosed pretty late, and just went everywhere, and it was horrific. And it kind of happened in stages. And it really tested my positive thinking. I'm really proud of myself for this. And I guess it showed me how kind of dogged I am not to let my happiness go, or not let my happiness be in control of anyone else. If actually, as you'll find out later, if anyone sabotages my own happiness, it's me more than anyone else. Anyway, so it happened in stages, and each time it was the next thing. We'd go to the doctors, or he'd go to the hospital and he'd have a scan, or he'd have traces in his blood to find if it spread. And every time, it was like a kick in the nuts. And every time for me, it was like, I was trying to find the positive in it. I was just like, I wasn't gonna give in, until it was too late. I just wouldn't give in, and neither would Brian. It was like, all right, there's not much positive to take out of that, but I'm gonna scrap through the dirt and I'm gonna find something. And every time it was like, well, that's the best we can hope for. Let's hope this happens, or let's make sure he eats well. Let's do this, let's do that. And ultimately, there's just things that positive thinking can't fix, and they can't make better. And seeing someone die, someone you love, and someone who's not ready to go, physically seeing it, is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It was heartbreaking and horrible. And we were all very upset for a long time. And it's just something that positive thinking will never fix, and it can't fix. But having said that, on hindsight, there are positives to be taken out of it. And that might sound like an almost cruel thing to say, but there are. And I think you have to, for your own healing and to learn from it. One thing my brother said at the funeral was, if you'd asked 13-year-old Jim, would he have had Brian for 15 years to lose him, but to have him, or to not have that pain and never have him at all? And he said, day after day after day, I'd always choose to have Brian there. And I think the same thing applied for Brian. In our family, he found a really close-knit unit that loved him, that he was a central point of, and that was really important to him. So I'm glad that we were able to give him that, and that we got that from him. But it was just a shit situation that positive thinking at the time is never going to fix. And maybe being positive all the time just made it harder when I finally had to kind of deal with it. But I think that was more a point of I refuse to give in. I'm not going to do it. And I do put a lot of that down to, and it sounds silly, but putting yourself in uncomfortable situations in training and stuff like that, because when shit hits the fan and everyone starts to panic around you, knowing that you've been in positions before where you've been uncomfortable, whether that be emotionally, whether that be physically, you're like, all right, calm down, let's think about this, let's deal with this. And unfortunately, a few people that I know, some closer than others, guys, have taken their lives recently, back where I used to live. And all of this kind of gave me a bit of clarity on, like, come on, John, there's lots of stuff that you worry about in life which you really don't need to worry about. And it takes me back to that Baz Luhrmann song, Always to Wear Sunscreen, which I love. And basically the lyrics, I'll try not to kind of get them wrong, I'll try and get them right, but basically, the long and short of it, he said, is that, don't worry. But if you worry, know that it's about as useful as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubblegum. The real worries that come in your life will be things that never crossed your worried mind. There'll be things that blindside you on some idle Tuesday. And that's exactly what finding out Brian was ill like. I might have been worrying about money. I might have been worried about getting that job done or this job done. And really, all that powered insignificant to what real worry is in your life. And unfortunately, that normally is something that we don't expect. It's like a boxer getting hit by a punch that he didn't see coming. They always hurt more. And this didn't like make me want to bulletproof myself to stuff like that and not feel anything, but it did make me want to hold more value in the awesome stuff that happens in my life that sometimes I overlook. So a lot of the stuff that we have, a lot of the coping mechanisms and the reasons we do stuff in life come from our parents, and they come from our upbringing. We're like a sponge up until like the age of 13. Like things your parents say, you won't know, but you repeat and you do the same. And this isn't my mum's fault, but a lot of the things that I do as an adult will come through my mum, through the coping mechanisms she had for the situation she was in at the time. Things were really horrible with my dad. It was quite just not nice, basically. So my mum had to deal with that, and she had to find ways to deal with that, and she did an incredible job. Unfortunately, some of her coping mechanisms passed down to me and to my family, my brothers, because we were vicariously in that situation. And it wasn't until I thought, you know, the way I look at my movement, and I'll get a coach to look at it and go, oh, you haven't seen this, John, but a different eye has seen that you don't move quite so well there. Let's work on this weakness. The same thing, I'd spent so long working on my physical that I hadn't spent as much time working on my mental. So I started seeing this lady near me, I don't even know what you call it. Basically, we just sit and we talk about stuff, and she blows my mind and tells me the way I see things are a very different reason to the reason I think I actually do things. And that's quite shocking to start with. Like, one of the things that she tells me, which this video is probably not helping, is I'm extremely honest and I actually almost give too much away. Like, and it makes me vulnerable apparently, because I say too much. But one of the things that I found out is when it becomes to me and Rose, I can be quite selfish. I put my work first, or I put this first, when ultimately I should put us first. And that's something that I've worked on. I'm so happy that I did, because she's way happier. Not that she was unhappy at the start with, but we both are really happy. And it allowed me to do things like yesterday, I was playing the guitar quite badly. And I was playing Benny King, trying to, and she was singing along with me. And I had a moment when I was doing it, and I was just like, this is it, this is awesome. And I was able to be there and really enjoy it, to coin the phrase kind of being present, rather than worrying. Like, one thing that you used to have heard me say was, when I wake up in the morning, if I don't feel like I've learnt something in the day, I feel like I've wasted a day. But no, that's not the case. If I want to sit in my pants in bed all day on a Sunday, that's totally fine. That's my choice. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a negative. Or maybe I'm just giving myself some rest that I need. But bullying myself into having to do something every day because I'm anxious that I'm not progressing, or I'm letting things go stale, or my bank account's getting low, whatever it may be, because of anxiety. And that's the same anxiety that crosses over into my fear of water. So I've been working on that as well, which has been helping me, because we've got Tribal Clash coming up, where we've got to do a lot of swimming. And I guess the whole thing about this video for me was to let you guys know that things aren't always what they seem on Instagram and stuff like that. Sure, my life's amazing and I'm so grateful for it, but there is a lot of shit like that happens. Like last year I moved into this amazing, my first house with Rose, and it was smeared with shit a little bit because Brian wasn't here to see it. And that's always going to be the case. But it reminds me to make these things even that much more special, and to say hello to him for when he's not there, or to really appreciate stuff. So I kind of have two meanings in this video. Like, one is for a bit of clarity. Like, a lot of people won't be in that situation, it'll be a lot more menial, but it might just make them look over to their partner or their best friend or their parents and give them a smile and just really appreciate them for a couple of seconds. For other people, hopefully it might help them a lot more if they've been through the same situation as I have, or even a lot worse. And there's a lot of guys and girls out there who've got a lot of stuff going on that their life, and they're really struggling. And although I don't have any mental illnesses or stuff like that, having someone have a look at the way I think has helped me a massive amount. So do not be ashamed if you decide that you want to see someone, whether it's for anxiety on swimming like I did, and uncovering loads of other stuff, whether you have thoughts that you're struggling, whatever it is, just know that there's nothing wrong with seeing someone, and it's not uncool when it's, and I personally think it takes a strong character to be able to do that. And again, I'm not afraid to say it, but I'm quite proud of myself to say on camera that I went and have someone look inside my head. and it's made me a lot happier out of it. And like I said, I don't have any mental illnesses or anything like that, but I do worry more than I need to. And I do have an irrational fear of water when I've got to swim out to bloody sea in a couple of months. But because through seeing her, I still can't get my head under the water and do all that side to side shit. I really struggle with that. But that's like a rhythm thing. I have no rhythm, by the way. But I struggled to swim 10 lengths of 25-metre pools, so 250 metres. I was getting to length 8 and 9 and I was struggling and I was starting to panic a little bit. And this was in the shallow end as well, so I could touch the floor. After seeing her the first time on the water subject, I went and I swam 500 metres without touching down once in the deep end. And that's a big thing, because it's not my ability in swimming, I can swim. It's my anxiety that I get when I realise that I can't touch the floor, there's no escape route, and you've got to do it. Okay, I tried my best to make that video in a positive and talk about some stuff that really wasn't very positive at all. But again, that video is not really about me, despite the fact that I shared my experience. It's really not about me. It's about you, as our videos always are. Hopefully making people happier and healthier. I hope that video helped. If you know someone that probably needs a little bit of help, maybe reach out to them if you can, or show them this video if that helps them. Alright, bye guys, love ya.